Welcome to Grandpa Hill's Stories. I am Grandpa Hill. For my children, my grandchildren, and all children, what you're about to hear really happened to me. Welcome to Grandpa Hill's True Stories. I'm sitting here tonight with 3 of my grandchildren, and I'm going to tell them a story about vacation. This story is for my children, my grandchildren, and all children. Yeah. Do you ever remember being on vacation?
No, but sometimes we go on a vacation at Jellystone or Myrtle Beach or something.
Myrtle Beach, that would be a good place for vacation. I never got to go to the beach until I was very old. I was older than your mommy and daddy.
Why?
I went to one place for my vacation. When I got a little bit older, I would go to 2 places, but for the longest time when I was a little boy, I went to one place. I went to my grandmother's. My grandma and my grandpa lived in Northport, Michigan. It's way up north, and they had an old farm barn, and they had a big old farmhouse, and they had lots and lots of grandchildren. They had like more than 30 grandchildren.
That you have?
Maybe 32 or 33. I only have 22.
You do?
Yeah, only 22. So when we went on vacation, we got in an older car. We never knew for sure we were going to get there. And there was one job I had to do on the way to vacation. When it got dark at night and we're driving along the last half hour, there were 2 things we did. One, we sang songs, all of us in the car together, partly so we would stop fighting, but also so that we would not be asking too many times when we're going to get there. And we still had to do this one job. We had to look for deer. And Grandpa was really good at seeing the deer. So many deer to see. I also would say, there's a deer, and it would turn out to be a raccoon. Or I'd say, there's a deer, and it would turn out to be a dog. But it was still okay because we never hit a deer on all those vacations. We could see that deer. When we got to Grandma and Grandpa's, we were tired.
You were.
Sometimes we'd be carried in. We didn't even know where we were when we woke up.
Did you sleep?
Yes, we slept in the car and we slept in the house, the upstairs of the farmhouse. And when we got up in the morning, there was one thing in the morning for breakfast.
What?
You know what we had for breakfast?
What?
No matter how many cousins were there, we always had the same breakfast.
What?
Raisin bread.
Raisin bread.
We'd have raisin bread and it would be toasted.
You said
cinnamon toasted raisin bread.
Well, I do not like raisin bread, so...
Well, this raisin bread was all we were going to get, whether we liked it or not. And Grandma would cook it, and Grandma made the bread. And she had a toaster. How many pieces of toast go in a toaster?
2.
No. How many pieces went in Grandma's toaster?
3.
No. How many went in Grandma's toaster?
4.
No. 8. 8 pieces at a time.
8 pieces at a time.
She had 33 grandchildren. Big people, they could maybe have some eggs, but all the little people, they all got raisin bread. And you could have as much as you wanted. And for some reason, they never ran out, and I couldn't figure it out.
Do you want cereal?
Nope, no cereal.
Your mom doesn't buy it?
Nah, it was pretty expensive for Grandma. Grandma was feeding us. Sometimes we'd bring food with us. They didn't have a lot of money, so they would make the raisin bread, and that was our special breakfast. That was the first breakfast. After that, we would have things like cereal that my mom and dad had brought. So after breakfast, first day there, we went to the toy box. What was in the toy box? Do you remember?
Toys.
Yeah, how many big toys did I have?
3.
Yeah, there were exactly that. There were 3. There was a big red car, a ball, and a stack of comic books.
Yeah, like reading?
Yeah, I like reading comic books and pictures. So the ones that couldn't read just looked at the pictures, and the ones that could read read them. And there were books like about Donald Duck and
Daisy Duck.
Daisy Duck, yeah, and Archie's and things like that. But sometimes we just skipped the box and we went outside for activities. Activities outside.
Yeah.
We would go across the highway and we would go and climb trees. And we'd play tag like little children do. We'd play tag in the trees. We'd jump from tree to tree, chasing each other. Yeah, and we fell down and we got hurt.
What happened?
Frequently.
What happened?
Well, we bled is what happened. We just get scraped up. We never really got hurt bad.
Yeah.
And we would take our vacation money and we'd go to town and we'd buy airplanes. When the wind blew, we were throwing airplanes. We were throwing airplanes that we had bought with our own money that we had saved up from doing chores at home. We'd fly our airplanes. And they would fly and fly and fly. They'd big loops, and they never got caught in the trees. You know why they didn't get caught in the trees?
Why?
Or the top of the house? Because the top of the house was a big farmhouse. It was 2 stories. Way up there. We couldn't get it up that high. And the trees, they were big willow trees. They were so big, or elm trees. They were like 6, 8 feet across. And they were way up in the sky. You could never get anything to go up there, and you couldn't climb them because there weren't any limbs. Then we would go sledding down the hills on cardboard boxes.
Yeah, like sledding in the summer. It was
Sledding in the summer, that's right. And we went fishing in the pipe. We would go to do all those things. Not every year. Every year we did have the raisin bread, and every year we did go sledding with the boxes.
But not.
Only one time did we go pipe fishing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when it got to be bedtime, there was a couple things that we did that we really weren't supposed to do. One of them is we would slide down the stairs.
Slide down the stairs.
But we would slide down the stairs so fast without a carpet that we would soon hear, "Stop sliding down the steps." The other thing we did is we were supposed to go to sleep, but we didn't go to sleep. The big people would be staying up late, and we would have to be in bed. And then what did we do? We watched the big people. You know how we watched them? We looked through the floor. Because in that old farmhouse, you heated it. You'd have a stove downstairs that heated the house. And the way the heat got to the house was through the floor. There'd be a square opening in the floor that had a grid on it, and you could see up there. And we looked down, and we would watch them playing euchre. It's a card game. And we'd watch them talk and have fun at the table. And we thought they couldn't see us, but we found out later they always could see us, and they could hear us too. But they'd let us stay there for a while, and then when it started to get a little bit quieter and a little bit later, they'd look up there and they'd say, "Time to go to bed." Now you'd think we'd know that they are listening and hearing us because they'd done it before. But every year we thought when we looked down, they couldn't see us. But every year they could see us. Every time. Every time we looked down, they seemed to know that we were there. So every year at the end of vacation, something happened. And we knew it was the end because my grandfather cooked something. He cooked popcorn. He had a metal tin he'd put on the gas burner, or sometimes he didn't have gas. He would just have the wood burner, and he would have a crank on top, and he'd turn the crank around, and it would pop, 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 boom, and he'd empty it all out into a big canning kettle. And when the canning kettle was full and over the top, Then you could have a piece of popcorn. Nobody had popcorn until it was full. But you also knew that when the popcorn was cooked, there was going to be no more vacation. Then the very last special thing that happened was the next morning, early in the morning, my dad or my mom would go into town and buy some smoked fish. They liked one fish especially good. It was called chubs. Can you say chubs? Chubs. Yeah. So these chubs they're not very long, but they're very kind of sweet tasting almost. But they're smoked. And they're not like cooked on fried or any of that kind of stuff. They're smoked fish. When they look like fish, they still have their heads on them and everything. And then they would pull them apart and they'd eat their smoked fish with Ritz crackers. Smoked fish, Ritz crackers, popcorn, end of vacation. We'd all get in the car after giving hugs and kisses, and we'd drive all the way back to Rochester, Michigan. That's like about a 5-hour drive.
I like raisin bread, Gorf.
I like chubs.
I like popcorn.
I like popcorn too. Marshmallow,
Yes?
why are we talking so much about food?
Maybe it is because Grandpa's story has made us hungry.
But Marshmallow, I'm not very hungry.
Gorf. Now you are right. Let's stop talking about food. Food. Raisin bread.
Boy, you sure are hungry.
Let's eat!
Marshmallow,
Gorf?
when you are done eating, we will go sledding and climb trees and explore.
Okay. Okay, I'm done now. That was a good sandwich. With raisin bread, too. Gorf, where are you?
I'm up here in the tree. Today I will be a tree frog.
Gorf, are you a bullfrog?
Come on, Marshmallow.
Where are you now?
Over here, hopping away from you.
Oh dear, I'll have to jump to the next tree.
Marshmallow, are you okay?
Yeah, I think so. That was fun. Thanks for helping me up. Ha, now you're it.
Huh?
Catch me if you can. Hey, I'm getting better at this. I didn't touch the ground that time.
That's right, but I caught you. You're it.
Oh no.